Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Trump. I've been doing a bit of tweeting, and a couple of things have come up, and I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to put this into a video, much easier to explain than trying to do the whole tweet back and forth and so on. And this is around a recent interview with Donald Trump and Sean Hannity on Fox News. Now, this, just for context, is regarding the documents at Mar-a-Lago. You may recall back in August, was it last year? I forget now. There was the search warrant executed. It wasn't a raid, it was an execution of a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, which resulted in quite a few classified documents and various other things that were retrieved from Mar-a-Lago, from Trump's, essentially, his Florida residence. And without going into the history of everything with it, one of the things that Donald Trump has, over the course of this investigation by the Justice Department, which is now being investigated by Jack Smith, who is a special prosecutor, who's looking at multiple potential crimes here. And Donald Trump has obviously called it a hoax and whatnot, the usual tricks that he does. But he's also said about the classification of documents. Previously, he has said, for example, things like, I could, as far as I'm aware, you could declassify documents with just by thinking about it. And almost as though he's playing ignorance. Now, there was a interview with Sean Hannity. In fact, let's play the interview very briefly first. Let's bring that interview up. So this is where the tweets that I responded to was with Brian Tyler Cohen, who had tweeted, Hannity, can't imagine you ever saying, bring me some of these boxes that we brought back from White House. I'd like to look at them. Trump, I would do that. Hannity, all right, let's move on. Trump, I have the right to take stuff. So Sean Hannity tried to move off the topic very quickly, but Trump continued. Let's just play the clip.
For decades, I can't imagine you ever saying, bring me some of the boxes that we brought back from the White House. I'd like to look at them. Did you ever do that?
I would have the right to do that. There's nothing wrong with it.
But I know you. I don't think you would do it.
Well, I don't have a lot of time, but I would have the right to do that. Right. I would do that. There'd be nothing
let me
wrong.
move on.
Remember this.
Yeah.
This is the Presidential Records Act. I have the right to take stuff. Do you know that they ended up paying Richard Nixon, I think, $18 million for what he had? They did the Presidential Records Act. I have the right to take stuff. I have the right to look at stuff. But they have the right to talk, and we have the right to talk. This would have all been worked out. All of a sudden, they raided Mar-a-Lago, viciously raided Mar-a-Lago. I have tape, and I gave them tapes. I gave them tapes of storage areas. I gave it to them. I could have held that back. I wasn't holding anything back that I cared about. I gave them tape. But the tape they don't want me to reveal? If possible. They've asked me, and I've so far adhered to it. The raid itself.
Wait a minute. I'll take that tape, and I'll air that tape.
Everybody would take that tape.
And so actually, you see the interview, Sean Hannity tried to make a point on Donald Trump, as he does, just goes gung-ho and so on. And I think a lot of the context around this, and this is why I put my tweet out, and it's got a lot of response so far. And this is, I think a lot of people, for context, thought that this was Trump just rambling, doing his normal ramble, does not think about what he's saying and just incriminating himself further. And to an extent, that's exactly what he's done. However, I do believe that this is from a different angle, and I think it's one that's perhaps been overlooked. And I tweeted in my reply, if I just bring this down to it, there we go, the Daily Trump. You're missing the point here. This was portrayed badly to be a defense of not knowing that what he was doing was breaking the law. In other words, it's trying to show there was no intent. Basically, oh, Your Honor, I didn't believe what the Presidential Act allowed. My lawyers told me so. And as I say, this is very much a typical Donald Trump playbook. And what Trump has done previously in the past is tried to play this ignorance card. Now, I know based on that it's hard to see, but you have to remember who his audience is here. Now, I know that playing the ignorance card is just a total nonsensical waste of time. I know you step into a court and you give that excuse and they're just going to go, slap, 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 you bloody idiots. Yes, I know that. Yes, most people know that. However, think for a minute about who Trump's audience is. It's on a right-wing channel with a right-wing host broadcasting to a predominantly right-wing audience. It's a MAGA tactic. It's a MAGA line. Now, if you remember when Trump said about how he can process thought of with the power of positivity with his mind, he could just declassify anything, and literally all over Twitter and social media in general, a lot of the MAGA sort of supporters, if you like, sort of argued the point, oh, Trump, he's got the ability to do that. He could just, magically make it with a fart. Literally, well, some of the stuff I've heard. And it was because that's what he told them, because that's the defense he gave. Now, the reality is, it's just because they say it on Fox News doesn't mean that it's true. And it doesn't mean that that's what he's trying to do or what his legal strategy may be. But this is the strategy he wants to portray to his audience, to his supporters. No, I was the president. I've got absolute power, and I determine that these documents were declassified. Or I'm more than within my rights. The Presidential Records Act gives me the power to basically do whatever I want, regardless, and none of you can stop me. It doesn't matter. All that matters is what Trump wants to get to his base in terms of a message and how that is imposed on itself. That is the point here. It's not about whether or not he's about the law in what he's saying, because it doesn't matter. What he says on Fox News isn't against the law. Now, of course, he can go in court and say that, not without some evidence to back that up. And certainly, if he went in court and said that, he could potentially open up his lawyers to a crime fraud exception, which would mean they could testify under oath about their conversations, if that he regarding whether or not they told Trump that he could that he could have these documents and or whatnot. So just a bit of context there, like I said, and I wanted to do this video because it's easier to explain in the video, which I can put back onto Twitter rather than trying to respond to lots of messages. And I've been responding to as many tweets as I can, but there's a lot of tweets there on there. Anyway, don't forget, if you are new to this channel, and I'm on YouTube, by the way, the link, if you're watching on Twitter, the link is in my bio, in my profile. Feel free to check that out. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all again on the next one.